We are here at Eco Village Wageningen, also called PAU, and it started 6 years ago, and it is a sort of a free space, a free cultural space to experiment with living together with nature and try to be aware of where our contact is with nature. So in all different areas there is a place where you make contact with nature and try to make this mutual beneficial. And this is a very broad experience place, but some experiments that are not so expensive are done here. There are people living here for 6 years now, and yeah, that's what this place is about.
Yeah. And how many people?
The major is responsible for our safety. That's a bit we're tolerated here. It started as an occupation, and we made an agreement that it would be about 11, like a soccer team, and we've got some spare players that are half living here or partially living here, and yeah, so we're quite full now because we occupied another area in the harbor in Wageningen. It was Groenlandje, but we had to leave there again, and this was quite interesting because the municipality didn't really wanted us to leave. It was not a problem that we were there, but the jurisdiction. Now, well, there were some complaints from the neighbors, and then the municipality had to evict us in a sense. So we went away voluntarily, but now the municipality is working on a new sort of bestemming and land permit to make it possible for other ways of living to get a permit on a piece of land. That would be living in tiny houses, living in a permanent eco village, and living in temporary free spaces. So this is quite interesting, a sort of legalization road, but we will still also occupy new places. The best places are in nature with no connections, so completely off-grid, so you get a lot to experiment with living there. But we're also very much interested in farm ground. It's not allowed to live there, but if the municipality tolerates us here, it will tolerate us at another place as well, maybe. So we can help the farmers grow food forests. So if we have 1 or 2 or 3 places where students live off-grid in tiny houses, like we do here on farmland that is transformed into a food forest, we can zoom in on this and give this as an example to the whole world, because Wageningen has a quite a big thing to say in terms of what the future will determine in ways of living, agriculture and stuff like that. So that's a bit of the goal of the next 2 years, and we're also working on making a permanent eco-village, obviously, and making a cultural free place, not only ecological but also cultural free place, and that would be in a space maybe even with a concert place, because we miss this in Wageningen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a question that I have is, what's the age of the members or the?
All right. When we started out, we were only some players of the band I play in, the Grassmower, because we know each other very good, and it evolved that we made a sort of an earth ship. We called it the mud ship, but in Dutch the modder ship. And at that point it was quite good to live here. Before it would be a hard work because it's just forest and an empty ruin. And now it was livable, so then more families came and with children. But then we got like the classical Disney story. There was a little nice eco village and there had to be a road through it. So we had this problem when we were here for 2 years. And this road demolished all our spaces, all our food forests startup and things like that. So afterwards we have to rebuild again. And at that point we got a lot of young people, so I think age 20 till 30 something, and well, most of those stayed. So now we are a group of young, well, students, ex-students, a bit older than students, and I'm the only father. I have two children, so it's a bit stuck in one generation. For me, it would be nice to have more parents around. So I started with my daughter. She's 16. She started a cola club. So a lot of teenage kids came here, and I asked the parents of those kids. So we now have a little come together every week of parents from teenagers and teenagers themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
And what is your, I guess, let's say, relationship with the municipality, but so from on a political kind of level, but also with the community at large, the Wageningen community?
I'm an artist. I don't use clay, but I use media and politics a bit to bring stories into life and also make them real. So in that sense, a lot of people know where is Eco Village Wageningen, what it is about, and they haven't been here, but they know because they read the paper. And in that sense, a lot of people are following us. But we have also an Airbnb places, and we've got internships and stuff like that in here. People who come here, they experience something new. So it is not as they suspected. They have to adapt like how it really is here, because it's different than what you think when you read a little newspaper. So in a sense, a lot of people think they know how we live here. I think they think it is easy living. Well, it's also about being a pioneer and having to endure rain and weather and cold and stuff like that. So that's for the community at large. We get a lot of schools here, so the younger children from Wageningen, they know the Eco Village because they got the course How Do You Survive in Eco Village, and the older generation, they come sometimes with Airbnb, and sometimes we offer tours for everybody actually, but also there is a paper at the hotel. So sometimes we get the older generation having a tour here, and they pay a tip at the end, and we put this in this Free Place Foundation. And the municipality, well, that's something that interests me very much. So that's because when you squat or occupy a place like this, the first thing you meet will be the police, and the police will do as the mayor tells the police to do. So I could give a whole course how to do stuff like this, but it comes down with trust. So we shared our concerns, Major and I, and in a sense, I sort of feel like a how do you call it, shadow major, because I'm the major of Eco Village Wageningen. But we really got together, and we trusted each other to have this place still here. So we are tolerated to live here, and actually as an artist I feel like we are tolerated to do whatever we want here, but don't say it too loud. But it's like, as long as we are responsibly doing it. So a lot of stuff are sort of experiments here, and we're really into it, and it won't work out all as we hope, but it's a way to connect to people, to try things out, and not be the holy grail of ecological living. No, we just try things out. And with this relation with the major, we have also a lot of relation with the wethouders, because I feel like the wethouders and the raadsleden, the people who are in the gemeente, in the municipality, they are doing a good job. They are doing a hard job, and they need input from their residents. And if you're an artist and you've got ideas, you have to go to them. So when I have a new idea, I go straight to the wethouder or the municipality and talk with them what's possible, what's not possible, and stuff like that. So they know, all of them know us now. Okay. So that's the municipality.
As you mentioned the contact with the municipality and the fact that you frequently visit them or propose things, I was wondering, what do you think can be the, let's say, the teaching of this kind of experience for the community? What can this experience teach to?
Yeah, well, the first thing is that it's the children who come here, they all of them think it is not, we can't do anything anymore to help Mother Earth. This is something we are being said over and over by commercials, because you can't do anything yourself, you have to buy stuff to make things happen. This is so much deep in everybody that to come here to express this lost feeling that you can't do anything anymore, and then see a group of people just doing stuff, that's enabling for everybody. So when the school comes by, they're maybe a bit depressed when they come, but even the teachers and everybody is very excited when they leave. So in a sense, we bring different story, we bring not so much the technical thing, but that it is possible to live in harmony with nature, to have a mutual beneficial relation with nature, and be aware and there, well, for instance, there's a lot of technological positivity in our heads, because every movie we see, if there's a problem, you use an atom bomb and the problem goes away. So we use technology to make the problem go away, and in a sense that could be a religion, so it's not true at all, but I feel like there are a lot of technical solutions that were not economically feasible and are there somewhere if you bury deep. And with those technologies we can come a very big part in making a sustainable world. So I think it's fun to let children or anybody cycle for electricity. Because how much electricity do we want to be happy? Well, I want to have my laptop charged. Well, you can cycle, and during playing the laptop or whatever you do on the laptop, and this is very easily done. I'm a technician. I build stuff like that. So it's nice to see people being able to participate, to do something instead of thinking of things. Maybe the first thing is connect. Especially students are very much in their head, so where's the connection with society, where's the connection with the self? Maybe you learn it when you're 40, but you can also learn it when you want to on an earlier age, and that would be smart, because we are now in a fast changing world, so we have to be able to adapt. And the first thing I would say to a student who comes here and is interested, just chop some wood. Just chop some wood. It's there's where it starts. Because so now I'm much more relaxed, and I'm interested in what the day gives, what's the next week. I like to work in the future, but not too far in the future. Just see what's here. That's an important thing. With the Erasmus program, you get the idea that you can travel the whole world. Well, see where is the connection with the world in traveling the whole world. It's quite far away. While just chopping wood and being on a place will eventually make a change possible, because they're doing a lot with children right now, because they have a very effective short-term influence on the world. And the old people, they consume a place like this, they consume a tour, and then they want a next tour tomorrow somewhere completely different. But well, that's maybe a bit cynical, but we as grown-ups, we are used of a stable world, and this stable world is not there anymore, so we are not very useful for children to teach them anything, I think. And in living in squatted places, an occupied place like this, I'm also adapted to a lot of change. Actually, I work best in chaos. So yeah, no, a lot of topics.
And I was wondering, so let's say, what is, if you have one, but what is your vision about, let's say, sustainable, for example, sustainable urban development? So how do you see this? How do you see that, let's say, cities should develop to provide accommodation, but at the same time be sustainable?
First thing is yourself. So be thankful for what there is on the world. So be thankful for your ancestors, but also your parents and your nanny and grandpa. They did their best. They didn't see that it was not sustainable. They just did their best. So it's our job now to make it, this little flaw, go away. And we can do this easily, of course. That's what I think. But in urban development, it's very hard to go from one point to a good point. What do you see in between? You need a sort of backcasting system, like where do I want to get and what can I do now? And with backcasting, I've been trying to figure out what to do now. So I sort of have a plan for it, but it's your job to find your own. But look, if I go to a big apartment building, I get very depressed because there's a lot of garbage going in and there's a lot of garbage going out, and the people are not very happy in living in there. Well, some of them are, but some of them aren't. So I want less stuff and I want more happiness. That's good, because we want to make profit. Maybe it's in our genes, I don't know, but we can make a lot of profit with social health, happiness, individual happiness, and stuff like that. So we can have programs for that. Like, let's see, there's one big floor and there's one lady there, she has no job. So maybe she can open up a place where, a swap shop, where you can bring stuff and you can take stuff. Then you can come there and have a nice chat with her and stuff like that. You can meet other neighbors and you can start making a social well-being, more well-being. And then maybe somebody invents, like, thinks of an old trick, making one washing area and maybe make it a bath house or something like the Romans did. I think they were very happy in their naked in their bath houses. So it's very, I think it must be appealing, and it's easy to make it appealing because the thing that we like to be individuals, it's not that we really want it. I think it's not in our genes to be individuals. It's good for selling more television sets and stuff like that, but for the rest, advertise for you, students. We also get students here that to make a list of action points. So not only do a lot of analysis and a lot of good thinking, but also make this list of action points. Otherwise it will be stuffed somewhere, and if there is a list of action points, well, municipalities will take this list and just perform them. So that is it's not actually mine, but another guy said you really have to tell the students that. You want to have influence with what you're doing, I would say. So, well, that is a way to do that. maybe get to a little bigger picture, because now I just made a little apartment building floor happier, but there's still a lot of garbage going in and out. Well, it's all part of steps, taking steps. Like, I would love to not have a car. I know I have a car and I'm using it and I'm very addicted to it. I use it as less as possible and stuff like that. But I'm not ready yet to separate from it, because I tried to sell it and I was really sweaty, and I'm very glad it didn't sell. But so the point I want to make is that everybody is on a different level of making steps towards this sustainable future, and the common thing is that we're all trying. Even my neighbor where I was living before, he drove a Hummer and had a sauna during winter outside. He would turn off the lights to see what electricity would do, because he bought solar panels. And so there's, for everybody is on somewhere in this route to make the world better. I'm sure of it. So try to connect, make it not a piece of that you can do things wrong. Try to get dualistic things out of everything. There is not existing anything dualistics. It's I've never seen two options. The whole world is one option, and so I very much try to implement non-dualistic thinking, because otherwise it will be probably you against yourself. That's the biggest struggle there is, maybe. And then there could be you against people you think, and then there will be people against people and stuff like that. And well, all those things don't exist. So try to think in a sense like everybody will take part. Really, everybody. The person that's eco-skeptical person will take part in making a sustainable world. Actually, it will be a big part, because when you have, for instance, in democracy, you have a good statement like, okay, I want to change this all to bike roads, and you have to collect all your friends that are in favor of bike roads, and then you vote against the minority. But there will be a problem in society, because there were some people who were not heard. They still want to drive their car or whatever. So in a consent way of getting somewhere, you try to communicate with the person who has the most problem with it, because then you will learn the most, and if you get to talk about it and make it acceptable for this person, it will be very sustainably implemented. And in Holland we've got this term polderen and gedogen, stuff like that, and we should be proud of it, because that makes a lot of things happening.
And yeah, I was wondering, do you what about the let's say groceries, and are you relying on let's say local food,
Yeah.
or what's your take on that?
Yeah, we the stuff we at the moment we're eating from our garden. You've got self-sufficient, and that's a word. If everybody would be it, we would have no world at all anymore. So we have to be together sufficient. And what group will be together sufficient? Well, I think the people who can bike to each other. So we try to. Some of us are working in gardens around Wageningen, CSA's and different gardens. And if they have a surplus, they can give it to us. We can give our to them. We've got some wild, mushrooms at the moment, of course, and chestnuts. And we've got we very much like it's called Odin now. It's a shop in the biological shop, but we are a food corporation. I've been for 20 years now, and that means that I can buy it from them for the price they pay for it. The shops pay for it, so it's 25% discount, and they bring it with a big bulk. So if there's a truck driving to the shop, it will bring once in a month. So we get our basics from this shop that's transporting anyhow, coming by, and we pay this in local currency, and it's biological, and we pay only the small price for it. So that's how we can suppress our costs. And then maybe I can talk a bit about money, because there are a lot of flaws in the design of money. The biggest would be that short-term investments are positive and long-term investments are negative, and you can't beat this. You can have a lot of good ideas at the university, like for instance some kids inventing a new battery that is not, it has no scarce materials in them and it won't break down. Well, there will be no investor, because that would be silly to make it in this economic environment at this moment. Maybe even crises can be a part in the planning of the backcast planning of the next decades, because we see that during a crisis like Corona, a lot of old ideas can get implemented easily, and if there would not be a crisis, then this would be a sort of transition, and they are very hard. I don't know why. Well, maybe I know why, but it's easier to start things over in another way. Maybe that's handy to take in account.
One question that I have is, do you think it is possible to, let's say, formalize these kind of experiences, like making them more, let's say, mainstream, or you think you would?
Yeah.
And how, basically? This kind of, even from a let's say a settlement point of view, do you think this is something that can be made a bit more mainstream?
Yeah, I think it's already much more mainstream, because when we started out I just called it eco-village, and now even the municipality thinks it's an eco-village, so it's in process, and the municipality wants to make this a way to legalize things like this. At the moment it's very experimental here, because we don't have money, we just do stuff, and it would be nice to make this more normal, but I think there is a little bit of a catchback that we cannot afford to rebuild society. We don't have enough resource for that. We cannot drive electrical cars, everybody, because we don't have the resources to change all the cars into electrical cars. Yeah, maybe in Holland, but not in the whole of the world. All cars would be sent to Africa, of course, our old cars. But so we have to make wise decisions, and that starts somewhere else. I think we should be able to use the resources we have very efficiently. So I'm trying to get this possible, to make the place where all the waste from Wageningen comes together, to have it reselected again, and with these materials we can make tiny houses and all different stuff, so we don't have to buy so much crap anymore, so we don't have to throw away the crap. So this is something that goes in stages, and at this moment I think it's good to have a lot of pioneer little towns like this around Wageningen, so we spread it a bit, like people who want to get out of their apartment building, they can go on farm ground and work out there, and maybe have wheels, so they can work on a different spot when it's done, the work. I'm not sure, and this will normalize this way of living, but the bottom line is that it will need to be, we need to invest in close kringlopen, what's a kringloop? Short circuits of materials and stuff like that. So we have to see if it's possible to have so many people living in an area as this big. It will be part of the transformation that we see, like how many people can be supported on the ground in a sustainable way with We see in nature, when we learn from nature, that's a thing we do in this place a lot. We try to use permaculture, but it was not a term the university wanted to use. So they invented agroecology. Now it's something a big firm can invest in. And we adapt a lot of strategies what we can learn from nature. So you can use it on a small level scale, like growing your own food, of course. And where do you grow your food? Well, you will grow near your kitchen and stuff like that. And you can use it on different bigger levels, like where do you want your materials to be, and where do you want the flows of material to go to, and how can you recycle stuff. So in a sense, we are getting there, that we are legal, but we have to still buy a piece of ground, make a lot of work to legalize Eco Village, one of them, in Wageningen. But afterwards it will be easier to do more of them. And once people see how it is, and if it's still feasible, we can rebuild the whole city. And I already have the websites Eco Village Wageningen, Eco Dorp Wageningen, but I also have the website Wageningen Ecodorp, because whole Wageningen should become an eco village, I think. So this would be my campaign website for becoming the mayor of Wageningen next term.
Thank you.
So you see, this is the part where artists show visions, and students will work the numbers and analyze it, and together we can change the world, I think.
Great. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.